Hello, my name is Nathan Laisure, and I will be providing you the overview for this week, week 2, in Psych 651, the Performance Management Process, Chapter 2, UNIS. The performance management process is a deliberate 6-step process that allows leaders to effectively assess and develop employees that are in line with the organization's mission and goals. The 6 components of the performance management process are prerequisite, performance planning, performance execution, performance assessment, performance review, and performance renewal and recontracting. Once implemented, this process is a continuous cycle that perpetually moves through the 6 components as it is continually refined with every rotation. Although this process is designed to evaluate employees, it also works to build trust and confidence in the employees as they gain valuable insight into their individual work styles and behaviors. When properly implemented, the employees develop a vested interest in the organization, and their supervisors are able to effectively accomplish their organizational goals. The first component is prerequisite. Prerequisites are those things that need to be in place in order for the performance management system to effectively function. This includes things like mission and strategic goals of the organization and how each job relates to them. Additionally, you need to understand the job itself by identifying the task, knowledge, skills, and abilities. Our text states that job descriptions are a key prerequisite for any performance management system because they provide criteria, i.e., a yardstick, that will be used in measuring performance. Developing accurate job descriptions help the organization convey what is required by each individual employee to be successful in a position. It's important to note that specific bias can impact the accuracy when assessing knowledge, skills, and abilities needed for a job. Effectively training your evaluators and raters will help reduce the potential for bias when conducting a job analysis. Once you have a firm understanding of the organization's missions and goals, as well as the jobs, you can move on to the performance planning component. Performance planning. Results, behaviors, and the development of employees are primary tenets of the performance planning component within the performance management process. The results are the key areas in which employees are responsible for, to include objectives and performance standards. Behaviors discuss the knowledge, skills, and abilities needed from the perspective of what competencies are required to be successful. And the development plan outlines areas of improvement and sets achievable goals focused on developing the individual's results and behaviors. Performance execution. The primary focus of this component is goal achievement and seeking feedback. In order to be effective, the organization has to create an environment that welcomes feedback and encourages goal achievement. Both the employee and the supervisor have responsibilities that contribute to performance execution. Goal commitment, feedback seeking, and communication to include providing goal progress updates to the supervisor are required for the employee to be successful. The supervisor must continually observe and annotate progress, communicate organizational change to the employees, and provide feedback, resources, and positive affirmations. For performance execution to be successful, performance problems must be diagnosed early, and appropriate steps must be taken as soon as possible. The performance assessment. The main objective of the performance assessment is to evaluate the performance of an individual. This aspect is critical for employees as they should continually seek to improve themselves. It is important to ensure that the assessment is fair. The organization can mitigate this by implementing controls like involving more than one person in the evaluation process or ensuring that the assessment is holistic or all-inclusive. The best results are achieved when both of the employees results are achieved when both the employees and the supervisors contribute to the assessment. Agunas states in the text that employee involvement in the process increases employee ownership and commitment to the system. Performance review. This phase is when the supervisor and the employee sit down and have a formal discussion about the results of the performance assessment. This appraisal meeting looks towards the future and is a great venue for the supervisor to continue to provide that constructive feedback. The discussion focuses on the employee's behavior and performance to date. Based on the overall performance assessment, the employee and their supervisor will develop expectations and create a plan of action for the future. Finally, the last component is performance renewal and recontracting. This component of the performance management model is just as critical as all the other ones, and the intent is this phase is to take all the information that has been collected from the review to inform future adjustments to the overall system and performance of the individual. This will allow the supervisor to draw conclusions about how the performance assessment is effectively being used to evaluate individual employees. Although this component is the last one, the performance management process is a perpetual process, as I mentioned before, that continues in a cycle. Each time, the entire process is reviewed during this phase before you start back at the beginning again and discuss the prerequisites. In conclusion, I've just reviewed the 6 components of the performance management process. And if you use these, they will help guide your performance management system effectively. The more times you work through the process from start to finish, the better end result you will have in terms of evaluating the performance of your employees. This process can really be implemented in any organization, but you have to use caution and pay close attention, because if any one component is implemented improperly, the entire system will be ineffective. In short, a performance management system is only as good as its weakest component. So these are the 2 questions that I posed to you this week. We would all like to think that we are impartial when it comes to evaluating the performance of others. But we are all human and carry different levels of bias, whether we realize it or not. An important aspect of the prerequisite component of the performance management process is eliminating bias in order to provide a clear job analysis. Based on the types of bias discussed in the chapter, have you experienced a situation in which you found yourself or someone else displaying bias while in a leadership role? Describe the situation considering how your Christian faith influenced your ability to identify and potentially reduce this bias. And then question number 2, in today's fast-paced workplace, we often find ourselves more concerned about the outcomes than the way the outcome was achieved. This does not breed individual performance. What are some ways that you could deliberately implement the performance management process into your organization in a way that it reinforces its importance and underscores the need for consistent, honest performance evaluation? I look forward to seeing your discussion, and I will join in as necessary. Thanks, guys.